If you watched the Saudi GP and follow F1 on any social media platform, there was no hiding the lack of emotion on Jos Verstappen's face when Checo was celebrating next to him. Videos have since emerged that Jos did indeed congratulate Sergio on his fine win in Jeddah, but after his recent comments, we are not too sure he was that happy with it all, and in particular Sergio Perez. There are a couple of certain things in life: death, taxes, and Jos and helmut Marko backing Verstappen no matter what. Both men firmly believe in Max's ability, and rightly so, as not only was he completely dominant in 2022, but beat ultimately the greatest racer of the modern era in Lewis Hamilton in 2021. There is no other way to put it that Max had a superb race in Jeddah, with the Dutchman going from P15 to second and breezing past the competition. Such was his dominance that Hamilton came out and said that this was the fastest car he had ever seen. When asked if it was a concern for F1 to see Red Bull so far ahead, Hamilton said, "I don't know, it's not for me to say, but I've never seen a car so fast. When we were fast, we weren't that fast. That's the fastest car I've seen compared to the rest. I don't know why or how, but he came past me with a serious speed. I didn't even bother to block because there was a massive speed difference." It will now be up to other teams to come up with an answer to Red Bull's pace, and with upgrade packages due for all teams still coming, we may yet see Red Bull dominate for a bit longer. But even with major upgrades, Martin Brundle thinks that the teams will now be under pressure to look elsewhere and possibly poach talent from Red Bull. Red Bull's dominant speed has put many teams and their key personnel under big pressure, not least Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren, Brundle said. "I've rarely witnessed such a broad challenge across so many teams, and they'll be looking to hire experienced talent from other teams who are themselves still feverishly protecting the people they already have under contract and collecting up other talents." Red Bull's weekend was not without mishap, with Max having to stop in qualifying due to a drive shaft issue, and we all know about the drama at the end between Sergio and Max. It was not quite like Brazil last year, but definitely starting to raise its head again.
It's Alonso, Perez, then it's George Russell in third. There's debris there being clobbered by...
With such dominance from the Red Bulls, this has the potential to go nuclear. As we all know, the Verstappens do not like losing. Red Bull have come out and said they will investigate the mishap that happened over the weekend, with Max clearly not happy with the team after the race. Max Verstappen has been catching a lot of heat for his actions in Jeddah, with many believing he defied the team order. But according to Horner, the team's orders were to let the boys race. Once we saw there was no issue that we could see in the data, it was a question of letting them get on with it, and then basically both managing the last 5 laps. The only debate about managing the pace was when the issue with the drive shaft became prevalent. At that point, think, okay, let's turn down both cars. But as soon as it became clear that we couldn't see anything in the data, we released the cars again. Horner would add to Sky F1, "We talked about team orders in a briefing, that you're free to race, but you keep it clean." Yeah, we know for all of us watching the race, this doesn't really sound like what happened.
Goes Alonso, down goes Perez, Russell, Sainz and Stroll are where they started. I think the debris might have...
But if this was what was discussed behind closed doors before the race, and we can't really argue against it, as, let's be honest, a lot of the time in sporting events, the fans don't get the full picture. At the end of the day, it is just 1 point, and if Checo is to win the championship, he will need to be at his utmost best to ensure that he doesn't just become the next Valtteri Bottas, because best believe that Max won't only come out of the blocks firing in Melbourne, he may just really get his elbows out. We could be seeing a completely different Max. Now, love him or hate him, you can't fault Max's sheer will to win, but when he makes statements like he should have won the race, it does make him look petulant rather than mature, with the Red Bull racer having this to say after the race: "We need to do better as a team. We can't have problems like these," Verstappen told Dutch broadcaster Viaplay. "Otherwise, this would have been a very different race for me. At the end, we limited the damage a little bit, but I should have won here." Yep, he did say that, and it makes it very hard to support the new champion. I mean, we're only 2 races in. Most of Max's mentality to win comes from his dad, who, as most people know, is an extraordinarily tough taskmaster, with rumors of Max being shown some real tough love when he was a junior racer. Jos was clearly not happy at the end of the race, and you can't blame him. All a dad ever wants for his son is the best, and Max didn't win. However, the F1 world was not as kind as we are, and many people jumped on social media to note how poorly Jos had reacted, and after his recent statement, we think he may be in for some more trolling on social media.
Max Verstappen sliding past.
Like any dad, Jos defended his son after the race, with the former racer having this to say about the fastest lap: "I just knew he was going to do it. Jos Verstappen said of Max Verstappen's fastest lap as reported by Formula1.nl. Nice, is it not? That way he will at least remain leader in the championship. And of course, Jos knew he was going to do it. He trained Max to be ruthless and fight for every point, not just podiums. Not only should Max win, but he should dominate. Now, Jos has had some pretty brutal statements in the past, but reading between the lines in the latest one makes you think that he knows that Sergio Perez is just not good enough to beat his son, with a very sly remark about him not often getting the chance to beat Max. Of course, we all want to win, but that was not possible today. The margin was too small for that. I don't think Perez, gets the chance that often. He sees that too and then goes for it. It went against us in qualifying. Bad luck, I won't go into that. We know what it is. But otherwise, Max just easily drives to that pole position, and then the race is a bit easier. Because we actually already predicted it is quite difficult to come forward here. This is a track with long turns. It's hard to make a difference there. We need more difficult circuits and more corners. Now, many people will say not to read too much into it, but this is Jos Verstappen. He knows what he is doing.
Drop by Sergio Perez. That was a great camera angle to show you that he's got the restart right.
But he did have another warning to all the teams around Red Bull. It looks like we will be dominant, the 51-year-old said. We have a very good car. If you saw how easily they drove away now too, a second faster. Whether that can be overtaken by the rest this year, I don't know, but it's not like we're standing still either, huh? We're also coming up with updates. Now, we are of course not sure what will happen in the remaining races, but what we do hope is that it's not just completely dominated by one team. And yet, we'll be honest, we can't see that not happening right now, so our next best thing would be for an epic battle between Perez and Max right down to the last race. Maybe a bit of Nico Rosberg versus Lewis Hamilton vibes. But we won't hold our breath as Max is just so dominant at the moment, we just can't see it happening. Speaking of Lewis Hamilton, it's not been easy going for the Mercedes star. Rumors are running rife about whether he will leave Mercedes or not. And even Toto Wolff stated that he wouldn't be cross if Hamilton did eventually leave if Mercedes could not provide him with a competitive car. The longer the contract situation drags on, the more the rumors will fly. Toto did open up about what the final issue is with the contract. He responded, "Well, I have no idea what is being said in this silly season. I just know where we are with Lewis and with George, and nothing else is relevant. And we're talking when we want to do it and how, but we just need to change some terms, the dates basically." When pushed on whether Hamilton will stay at the team beyond 2023, Wolff quickly added, "I'm absolutely confident." British F1 champions Jenson Button and Damien Hill have previously suggested Hamilton had not signed an extension due to concerns around Mercedes' package. And yet, for a little while longer at least, breathe easy Mercedes fans, it looks like Hamilton is here for now.